What's going on, YouTube? Coach Braden here with Look Like You Lift, and in this video we're going to do another kind of a walkthrough with upper body workout B. So I've got 3 upper body workouts that I'm rotating through right now. I recorded part of my lower body A workout, but my camera didn't work for the other half, so I don't want to upload it halfway through. So this was the last successful recording session that we were able to get done. So if you haven't seen upper body A, I'd recommend checking out upper body A because I go into a lot more context of what exactly I'm doing. So with that said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's workout. So starting off this workout with dumbbell bench press. 1 rest pause set with 3 subsets. I think we've decided that we're going to call them subsets. So each subset needs to be taken to failure. Controlling the negative. So I liked this speed of the negative here. You'll also notice that my elbows are at an angle. Okay, so they're not all the way flared out like most people do their bench press. It's actually like a little bit tucked in. I find that helps a lot with shoulder impingement and making sure that it the tension stays on the chest as opposed to in the shoulder. So, and it's also going to be safer as well. Yeah, you get a little bit of shoulder and a little bit of tricep, but it's kind of the price that you have to pay for protecting your shoulder and for ensuring that you get a good chest workout. So that was failure first subset. Taking 12 to 15 deep breaths, and then we go again. So breathe in nice and deep, and then we go ahead and get into it again. This way that I set my dumbbells up is what I recommend to most people, using your legs to get the dumbbells set up into position. You also take a look here that my shoulder blades are pinched together and tucked down, very similar to how you would do a barbell bench press, like what you would call a powerlifting bench press, I guess is what you would call it, but this is just a normal way that I recommend pressing. The arch in the back is no problem. You're still getting the full range of motion, the most effective range of motion, but now your shoulder is in a better position to press from. Okay, second subset done. We got 1 more subset to go. But anyway, so arching the back a little bit helps with keeping everything nice and stable and secure, and it puts the shoulder in a better position to press from. So, getting set up again. Still controlling the negative. Explosive concentric, or as explosive concentric as you can get as it gets heavy. So. Now, true absolute failure is kind of tricky with this exercise because naturally there's a little bit of risk to reward. So I would much rather stop 1 rep short of absolute failure and actually finish the concentric as opposed to, okay, funny story here, but as opposed to, getting stuck at the very bottom and then hurting myself. We don't want that. So apparently my electrolyte balance has been off to this day that I filmed this because my muscles were cramping super bad. So I went to go up to reach to grab the barbell, my chest cramped up. So I had to stretch that out for a bit. All right, so we got a dumbbell, barbell, or seated overhead press. Now what you'll notice, in my instructional videos when I talk about how to do a regular overhead press, how the form on that looks a lot different than the form I'm doing here. So I'm stopping just underneath my chin. I'm taking a much wider grip. You'll take a look at the forearm angle. Like, just everything looks a lot different than what I talk about in my barbell overhead press technique video. And the main reason for a couple of reasons. So number 1, my shoulders hurt. I've got some pretty nasty shoulders from my years of doing strongman. And so anything in the range of motion, anything with the form that I've taught you guys is correct, but for me, it hurts. And so I've pretty much just omitted the barbell overhead press out of my program altogether. I'm not a strength lifter, and so that's not like an event that I need to worry about. I'm not a strongman anymore, so that's not an event I need to worry about. We're just using pressing for shoulder development, right? So that's why I'm doing a seated barbell overhead press to keep the resistance on the shoulders and to avoid any kind of like double layback, which is a method that I use. So that's one of the reasons why I'm using a significantly lighter load. And I do a partial range of motion because I find I can keep the weight on the shoulders the most that way. The lower I get, the more I find it goes into my tricep. And also, that's where the shoulder pain comes from. So I purposely kind of do a little partial range of motion here. Really grinding it out. So that's second subset. We got one more subset left to go. Still trying to fight the cramp that's going on in my chest. The cramp in my chest was happening like the entire time, which is annoying, but whatever. Make sure that you guys are staying hydrated. Not just water, but making sure that you're getting in enough sodium throughout your training sessions and before your training session as well. So, okay, final subset. One thing that you'll also notice in this exercise that I really like doing in any kind of overhead press is I focus on the lockout, where at the top of the movement I shrug at the very top. I don't just press, I shrug. And the shrug I found helps to work some of the upper back, the trap, and also and it also puts extra tension on the shoulder, which the more mechanical tension that you can put on the shoulder, the more growth is going to occur. So, all right, shoulders done. Next exercise that we have is close grip bench press. So now you'll notice that with any of these bench press exercises, I'm always doing them in a cage for safety. Safety always comes first, especially if you're going to be going to failure on every single set. So, even if I were to fail and not finish the repetition, I can just rack it on the safety bars here, which would make something very dangerous and make it essentially not dangerous at all. So I belted up for this one just so I could lift more weight with more control. More weight with more control means more growth. So I just belted up for this one. My bloat has significantly gone down since we've fixed my diet, so I can actually put my belt on again, which is always good. So controlling the negative all the way down, exploding up. And with this, I'm trying to really focus on articulating the angle of the elbow as much as I possibly can. So a lot of people don't find that they grow very much from the close grip bench press because they're trying to just do a bench press with a close grip. I have found that when you actually think about trying to make the angle of the elbow as short as you possibly can and close that angle up as much as you can, and then press, so it's almost like a tricep extension combined with a press, you get a lot more work. So as opposed to just doing a bench press with a closer grip, actually articulate the angle and actually focus on a bit of an extension and a press combined. Hope that makes sense. Got one more set going on. I'm also when I'm instructing my clients and they submit their form checks, whenever you do a bench press, you never want to put clamps on your barbell. Again, for safety reasons. The only reason why I've clamped the weight down on this exercise is because I have safety arms, and so if I got stuck, I can just safely rack it on the safety arms. It won't be a problem. But if you have clamps on and you don't have safety arms, you're going to be stuck, and it's going to look really embarrassing, and you can hurt yourself. Whereas if you don't have the weight clamped on a bench press, you can just slide the plates off of each side. So, all right, next exercise we have is a lat pull down. Now, this machine is unique where you have to lean a little more forward to actually get the full range of motion of the lat. which is new for me, which has actually been pretty beneficial because I have a nasty tendency of swinging at the bottom to kind of get the, inertia of the weight. With this machine, you can't do that. You can't really sit back. You can't lean back. You have to lean forward, and that also means that you're going to use. I've found with this machine that I have a better connection with my lat than any other machine, any other lat pull down machine I've ever used. So, it's an acquired taste, but I've come to enjoy it, and I actually like using it. It's been really beneficial for my back. So. Again, using straps on this exercise because I don't want grip to be one of the factors of me failing. I'd rather have the main factor of failure be my actual muscles as opposed to my grip. So, resting here. Getting ready for the second set. So just like with the last upper body exercise with the lat pull down, we focus on pulling through the scapula first, thinking about trying to get the scapula to tuck into the back pockets, and then pull through the elbows. So this is where I would consider it to be concentric failure because I wouldn't be able to do another repetition with the full range of motion. So that's where we stopped for the second subset, and then we get ready for the final subset. Strapping up. Trying to control the negative as much as I can. Okay, that's done. Last exercise we have is a barbell row. Let's skip forward a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so strapping up with this one. So, all right, so with the barbell row, I usually instruct people to do them from the ground. To start from the ground, pull to the top, and then just row. I have found I do really, really well with a rack barbell row because lower back fatigue is no longer one of the factors in your exercise. So I'm going to stop this real quick because it's a short set. It's a straight set. But so I find that a rack barbell row has been really, really beneficial. Allows me to use a lot more weight. Now, when you watch this exercise, you're going to notice that I'm in a very short range of motion. That's mainly because I'm working on the lower portion of the lat, pulling toward the hip. So I guess you could say back thickness, trying to get the back thicker, getting used to heavier loads. You'll see what I mean here. But this is the most effective range of motion. Okay, with this more horizontal back angle, I'm not necessarily focusing on trying to pull like a traditional row. I'm actually pulling very, very low. I'm pulling to the hip. And you'll notice that before I actually start the pull, I actually get the lat really, really, really tight first, and then I try to only think about the lat doing the work in the row. The arm is kind of just moving just to get the weight to the hip, but all of it is from the lat. So you'll see as I get tired that if I keep thinking about squeeze of the lat, I actually can't pull it, right? That's where I know the fatigue is, and I'm trying to fatigue and trying to exhaust the lat, and that's how I know I've done that. So that's all the exercises. Yeah. The press exercises were all rest pauses to failure. The lat pull down was a rest pause to failure, and then the dumbbell or the barbell row was a straight set. So to technical failure. So yeah, that is upper body B. I don't know if I'm going to get through upper body C and then lower body A, B, and C because I do have a coach now, and I'm letting him take over all of my training and programming, and so I will show you my workouts when those are done and when we start moving forward with those. But we'll see. If I'll try to get out as much of these upper lower workouts as I possibly can. But we'll see. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to send a message or drop a comment, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.